Welcome back. We are Hard for Games. I'm Tony.
I'm Brett.
And I'm impotent.
Oh my. Today we're going to be beta questing for Zelda yet again. Aren't you glad that you came?
By the end of this, we may all be a little impotent.
Lick our dick.
That is right. Today we're going to be using Gameshark codes to revert the cartridge back to an aesthetic that's similar to the alpha and beta builds of the game.
And the only reason I'm doing this is because I am confident that we can get this into a playable version of Ocarina of Time in the Link to the Past engine.
That's right.
So stay tuned.
So this code right here, relatively simple, relatively painless, takes a couple seconds to put in for version 1.0. It gives us a true beta element, a fade in, fade out. How exciting.
It's a delicious vintage flavor. It's a rich, musky aroma.
A little spicy.
So where does the Triforce fade in?
Well, I'll show you. Right there.
Oh!
Yeah.
Tri-swipe and we're out.
That's right. Wait for it.
Whoa!
Wacky.
You just blew my mind.
Are there other swipes that you can activate by changing that code slightly?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
I think if you change the last 4 digits so that it spells boob, Zelda's tits fade in or fade out.
Should we try that though? Because it sounds pretty promising.
No. That's for our viewers to seek out on their own.
Oh yes, of course.
That swipe never gets old. I don't know why they got rid of it. Is there a beta element where the trance vibrator from the Dreamcast actually functions with this game?
Not entirely sure about that one, Richie. Not entirely sure. So we can all agree that Link could accessorize a little bit more, right?
Yeah.
A little more flair, a little more pizzazz.
A little more razzmatazz.
Ooh. One of the original versions of Ocarina of Time, you had a very significant air trail, I guess you could say, when you swung the sword. You still do, but it's been nerfed in the final product. So if you want to get that back, bring that back up to 11, you use this code right here. So we're going to bring up the flare of the sword, but subdue the tunic a little bit. In one of the early beta versions, he kind of had this sort of like gray-greenish tunic instead of like a brighter green like he does now. So we're going to bring that down a notch.
This goes in absolute contrast to my counsel to Tony, which was to maximize the flare in all the dimensions.
So draw more attention to the razzmatazz.
That's
of the
right.
sword.
Fair enough.
I guess. And to be even more fair, the entire purpose of beta questing is to punish me.
True enough.
The tunic is, it's a little darker.
It's a little drab.
It's pretty close to his original color, though.
It is extremely close.
You know what, Richie? It is nothing like this.
You know, one of our fans had said that he wanted to see some more environments in our beta questings.
Okay. Sure. Well, let's go to some areas to show off this sword glowy flare that you normally can't go to.
Let's go to the ocean.
Let's go to the ocean. Okay, so some new locations, those sort of things. Now, obviously, you can't get into the Deku tree as an adult because that sweet hole's covered up, right? But of course, if you have the levitate code,
Whoa, why can't you just go in through his nose?
you actually, surprisingly, it is like you can like land on it, and like most areas that are out of reach don't have any sort of like physics where you can like actually touch it like that. But
His eyebrows do.
his eyebrows you can go through. But if you come up through the leaves here and you try to land right in like the doorway right here, you can, as an adult, go into the Great Deku Tree.
Ooh.
So go crazy.
Let your freak flag fly.
Yeah, look at that.
So beautiful.
I can see why they got rid of it, though, because it is pretty distracting when you're trying to look at your enemy and he's entirely covered up in your sword swings.
Yes, exactly.
But it would be cool if they dealt damage over time.
Yeah,
like
that would be
air
cool.
trail traps.
There is actually a beta like sword beam that people have found in the debug ROM. I've never used the debug ROM before, but apparently it exists. So we're gonna just keep combining these codes so we have a true sort of beta feel to the gameplay and aesthetics. Next up on the list is a code that changes the interface into an interface that's very similar looking to one of the alpha builds of Ocarina of Time. So I'd like to show this to you. And now, Richie, you think that me bringing you here is torturous, right? Mm-hmm. The beta questing is torturous. I would like to welcome all of you to my own personal hell. Take a look at this code. Yeah. That's a good half hour worth of code. This interface is really less beta, more alpha. Here is a code for the beta inventory screens. Supposedly, the beta inventory screens.
Yeah, that wasn't that bad.
It's bad.
The other one was worse.
It bad. It bad. So we're going to combine these two. We're going to have the alpha interface and the beta inventory.
Now, Tony, I presume that you used the N64 keyboard to input those codes.
Yes.
There's no N64 keyboard.
There is, actually.
What?
Yeah, there's an N64 keyboard. It came out as a Nintendo 64 DD peripheral.
Well, do you have to have a DD for it to work?
I don't know. That would be a good question. Can you use the peripheral for the Gameshark? That would save me a lot of time and cost me a lot of money. Okay, so as you can see, there's no longer the A, B for your sword. There's the kind of a blinking A, and the reason why that is because I didn't input the code wrong. My cartridge just has deep Questin sickness. It is totally screwed up from years of beta Questin. That's just the price it had to pay. So normally that's not supposed to be blinking there. It just kind of is. Although
No,
it's
Tony,
not on there though. Look.
Tony, you're lying to our viewers. This is actually the original design of the N64 controller.
Oh,
it was originally going to have directional A buttons and directional C buttons.
I like the sound
So
of
there
that.
would be a completion to that triangle too up there at the top.
But the other A button would actually blink in and out of existence on your controller at high speeds. If you were pushing it, when it blinked out and back
You
in,
would lose a thumb.
Well, not the whole thumb. It would just cut maybe a quarter inch off your thumb.
Sure, fair enough, fair enough. You know what though? It's not showing up on the game capture device. It's showing up on the TV. So I'm going to take a little video of the TV so people will actually know what we're talking about
Prove
here.
that we're not insane.
This is going to be an incredible video.
This is gonna turn into like a found footage movie after we all get murdered.
That video is going to be leaked in the Fappening too.
First off, hello.
Whoa.
This is happening real.
Cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats and boots and cats.
Boots and cats.
Boots and cats and boots and cats.
See how they blink at different like phases?
Oh yeah, it's
all
a
over
trip.
It's all over the place. So here's a cool thing, like there's kind of items randomly placed around here. So like your swords are not only over here, but they're also down here now. So you can put the giant's knife, map it to C, and also map the master sword to C, which is interesting.
I still am upset that it doesn't mean that you can dual wield those two swords. And Nintendo, if you're paying attention, we really, really, really want a Zelda game where Link dual wields.
They're not paying attention.
Hold the giant's knife in one hand. It would break your hand right off.
But look, mine's just a little stub because it broke. Remember in the game where you build
Yeah.
this whole thing and breaks? So I can't really show it off, but like, here's him, and you can just like switch. And like switch swords. So like, here's the giant's knife, here's the master sword, right? But I think it is cool that you can kind of swap between your swords without having to go into the menu.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is interesting. Another cool thing is this guy right here. Got some Japanese text down there. You can equip a fishing rod. So if you take a look at this, here he is with his invisible fishing rod.
He's just doing that dance move where you pretend to like cast off and then reel a girl in.
And look, he stays there. You can't move him. while
Hot
he's
Zora
using it.
bitches, get over here.
It looks a little suggestive when he's holding it like that.
Hey ladies, take a look at this.
Huh?
Okay, so that about does it for our beta question for today. Relatively painless. I'd like to thank everyone who sent us codes. Keep them coming. Thank you very much. We got those codes after the last beta question, and Richie is so happy.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think about your first Questin experience?
It was, without a doubt, the greatest thing I've ever experienced.
Absolutely. Cheers to that.
This is my fishing pole.
Thanks for watching. If you want to see more H4G Games, subscribe to see new episodes every Tuesday.